Good morning and welcome to the Celebrate podcast. Today we have business coach Lauren Douglas with us and we're super excited about that. But first, we want to make sure you know that we're live on YouTube and Facebook every Tuesday at 11, and we have very interesting guests with us who talk about all kinds of cool things. So we love what we're doing here. We want to thank Elio with Fiesta Media for producing this podcast and, talking us into going out of our comfort zone and doing this. So want to introduce Lauren.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
And Della.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for being here today, Lauren.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. So we have lots of stuff to talk to you about today. I want to start off by you telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do. You and I met through your husband, Mark, and I've known Mark for about 3 years now through Vistage, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But tell us about you.
Sure. So I went to school for psychology, thought I was going to go to med school. Ended up meeting Mark, and he said, hey, I heard about this marketing merchandising company. Why don't you not go to med school and come start this? He had a publishing company at the time. And I said, well, I'm 22. Sure, I'll start a company, right?
Yeah. Sounds reasonable, right?
No idea.
Yeah.
Well, he was right. I can always go back to school because I love just constantly learning. That's one of the things that I miss the most about college, and just being in that type of environment is, the exchange of ideas and new expressions and just learning things that had no idea existed in the world. So I would be sitting in class trying to take notes from the teacher, also processing orders at the same time. I had to learn everything from scratch. And, Mark was a great mentor at the time getting started. And then he ended up selling his publishing company, and we together moved the marketing company forward. And then about 3 years ago, through Vistage, actually, we had really empowered our leadership team to drive the company forward. We still hold the vision, but they're the ones responsible for the decision about how do we get to where we're supposed to be going. Right. So that gave me some free time, which is great, right? But yeah. I like to work.
Yeah.
So you were ready.
Very fun. Yeah. So I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? And, I drew back on my psychology, which is really about empowering and helping other people reach whatever potential dreams that they're going after. So I got into business coaching, and I started my own group in Vistage. And so now we meet as a peer mentor group for CEOs, and they together work on their own businesses. And I get to watch all of this growth and overcoming fears and trying new things out of comfort zones.
Yes.
Like this podcast.
So back to, I want to ask you about What's Happening Promotions, right? So you guys have been doing this 17 years, approximately.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I just aged
that is
myself.
so cool.
Yeah. So,
no, that's exciting. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have experience. That is a good thing, right? When you're a
Yes.
business coach, it's like you can't be 22 and just out of
Right.
college and never actually run a business. So
Yes.
that experience is super valuable.
Yeah, so I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yes. Haven't we all?
That's the experience, right?
So I think that's the best thing, is the mistakes that make us grow, because
Yes.
it shows us kind of what not to do and where to go. But tell us a little bit about What's Happening Promotions, because you guys started that, and it's still going strong. And I also want to know, not only about that business, but I want to know how you made the decision to transition into kind of letting other people, because I think when you own and run a business, sometimes it's hard to let other people step up and take the lead or, give direction. How do you kind of let go of your baby?
So I would say that is the number one reason why companies don't grow, is the leader does not want to let go of control. Because it's really hard, right? When you have grown something, especially from an entrepreneur, you're responsible for making the decisions. And then when you have to step back and take a management role, that's now allowing other people to make mistakes, right? So that's I think the most challenging part. And then beyond that, you get to more of a board of directors role, which is really big step back. But I think that is the hardest thing, is learning how to transition and letting go of control. You can do that mostly by asking questions. So instead of giving people directions on how they need to be and what they need to do, you start asking probing questions, because usually you'll find that they have a better solution to the problem.
Anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which we're trying to do that. We're trying to be better about that. It's really hard for me, but yes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. We were talking about going deep, so I might just go deep real quick.
Do it.
So years and years and years ago, I wanted to find out the meaning of suffering. Like, why is there so much pain in the world? Because, there are some really difficult moments that people have to go through. And I wanted to understand, what is the point of all of that? So I read about all various kinds of religions. And ultimately, the rules for each religion are different. But ideally, it's how do you serve other people, right? How do you be a good person? The guidelines are different, how to get there, of course.
Right, yeah.
But ultimately, they're all focused around the same sort of thing. And, I think that starts with an inner peace within yourself. That's ultimately joy, right? Is finding peace within yourself no matter the obstacle. And when you can forgive yourself and allow that mistake for yourself to happen, it's much easier to transition that into someone else.
Right. Because if you have grace for yourself, you can extend grace. Like if you're like angry, then you're going to pass that along,
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And I think that that's true. I think a lot of people ask, like, what is the point of being here? It is so crazy and it's so hard. But I think that I've been reading a lot about that, and I like something I read recently, which is about finding your purpose and finding your gift and then giving it away. And that's what brings joy and happiness, is actually not about helping yourself, but helping other people. And I was like, I can go with that, because that makes sense to me. So I think when we give away to other people, then that can really fill us up as a byproduct, I guess. So
for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And the only part that I would add is just boundaries onto that, is giving yourself so much that you deplete, any resources that you have left for your family, for yourself. Like I think that's the interesting balance, right? So if we're here to learn compassion and empathy for other people, it's also that for ourselves. So how do we figure out, when is it too much and when is it not enough? So, and I think that's a lifelong lesson.
it's a constant work, right?
Especially as a mom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're required to step into all these hats very quickly, especially if you're a mom and a business owner. You have to have a hard driving, here we go, this is what we're going to do. And then when you get home, you have to step back and have that, more nurturing energy. And that's a difficult transition to make, especially within an hour on a drive home.
Well, and especially with us, ours follows us home. Like we don't, there's not a clear end of the day, right? So our day ends never. So, for us, we're getting better, but having that where we're like, oh yeah, okay. Like now we have to do the mom thing and, all the cooking and whatever we do. It's like,
we don't have good balance or boundaries.
Yeah, we don't.
So, I mean, I was dealing with a patient last night at 11 o'clock at night, but she needed me and she needed help. And I mean, it's what we signed up for, and we know that.
For sure,
So,
it's what we do.
But we do try to figure out a balance, and sometimes that is, taking a little time in an afternoon because we know we have stuff in the evening. So, I think that everybody deals with that to a certain extent, no matter what they're doing. But
For sure.
yeah. So I love that you started the company at 22. You guys have built it over the last 17 years. You're in this transition time of allowing other people to take charge, but that you've transitioned into this role of being a Vistage leader. I got involved with Vistage in 2018, and I'm in a parallel group to yours. And it's been, and Lisa's in one in Ocala.
Yes.
But it's been so good for us in the growth that we've been able to achieve through that mentorship and that camaraderie with the other business owners that we've gotten the exchange with in that group.
And the level of honesty and transparency and sometimes things you don't want to hear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the things you don't want to hear, but it's the things you need to hear.
100%. Absolutely.
How did you become involved with Vistage? I know that Mark is a member. Was that your lead in, or how did that happen for you?
Yeah, so my coach, Bill, he was the chair. He said, why don't you start your own group? You'd be great at this. And I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sure, let me just go out and introduce myself to everybody in the community because that's comfortable.
Yeah.
Coming out of that comfort zone, right?
Yeah. But it's actually, it was. I mean, I didn't realize how many interesting people there are in such a small city.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. And it wasn't until I started going out and, making connections and pushing myself out there that I was like, oh, this is really fun.
You have great people in your group. When we had that, what was it? The one where all of us got together, ITR. Yeah, that was great because I got to talk to. I didn't know. I know Kevin. I didn't know he was in your group. So that was cool. And
we love Carissa.
Meeting Peter and Carissa. Like it's nice, and I like that we're kind of almost now cross pollinating with your group. Like Del and I'll have coffee with Kevin, or we'll talk to Carissa, and I feel like that is important. I mean, having your inner circle's great, but sometimes even we're all in Vistage. We're all trying to grow our business. We're all trying to do the right thing and improve on all these things. And having that ability to cross-pollinate, I think, is really important.
Well, it's really lonely at the top, right? You can't go to your employees and say, I'm scared.
No.
I mean, you can a little bit, right, with transparency and vulnerability. But if you go to them and say, I don't know what's going to happen, they're going to be like, should I be looking for a job?
Right.
Yeah. So being able to talk with other peers who have either been in your shoes or are currently facing it, or can hopefully, guide you through the best answer is just another way to bring that internal peace. And I think that that's the value that it comes from it, is knowing that you can make a mistake and recover from it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially when you have someone who's been there before.
Yeah. Yeah, Lisa and I think that we're lucky because we do have each other. But I think even us being in separate groups to kind of bounce things off and learn from those groups has been really tremendous for both of us. Mm-hmm. And then to come back together and know that we actually support each other, but then we have this outside resource has been so
amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's great. I love it. So let me think. What do you do for fun?
Oh, what do I do for fun?
Elio.
I love that.
I'm like,
what do I do for fun? I love to read, so that's fun. My husband, he's wonderful because he's constantly trying to distract me with fun. Like if it is, I think we went like laser tag.
Oh, nice.
The other day.
I saw you in some off-road vehicles recently.
I know. It's my husband.
That's fun.
Yeah, he's just like a ball of fun.
And you guys like to boat and do the water stuff.
Oh,
beach,
I love that.
lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love going on any sort of traveling trip, I would say.
We miss that too.
Oh, I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to be over with. We were talking, I'm turning 40 this year, so what kind of trip I'm going to do, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should do something just fun.
So you have a daughter. She's in middle school, and so that keeps you definitely busy for sure.
Yeah. It's hard being a girl growing into middle school and trying to find out what your independence is, but also still wanting, to be young and just coming out of elementary school. I mean, it's a unique challenge in middle school, I would say.
Yeah.
But she has a good support system around her, and hopefully she'll have it easier than I did.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, why can't we just erase middle school? Because, I've been through it with a couple of them, and it's just like, it's terrible. It's like elementary is like good and high school is like great. And then you're in the middle of this, like, I wish we could just be like, can we just somehow figure out how to do the hard growing up part, but not make it so hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We have fifth graders, so we're coming up on it.
It's coming in. Yeah. The girls
Next
are in
year.
fifth.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different structure because they're required to be so much more organized and change classes, and they've lost that direct feedback. So I think it's hard to try and figure out that navigation. But from what I hear from our teachers, it's pretty normal. They all go through it. So
Yeah.
But you don't want to ever see your kids like struggling. I mean,
know.
that's the hard part, right? I mean, I know they have to struggle to grow. I understand. But at the same time, it's just hard to watch it.
I heard something the other day that said maturity is not related to the number of years you've lived, but it's to the amount of pain that you've withstood. And I think that that's pretty
Accurate.
profound.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think that like pain is the goal, it is the challenge to get through so that you can build that resiliency, it doesn't make it as scary,
Right.
knowing that it's a part of it. I mean, nobody wants to go through it, of course.
Yeah.
That's not fun, but it's part of the growth process. I mean, what is that movie? I can't remember the name. It was like it was a children's movie. It was about feelings. And
I
there's
know
like
what you're
4
talking about.
negative feelings that you have to get through and 1 happy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, that's what this is
What
about.
is that movie called?
Now I can see
Yeah,
the
what
little
is that
blue
movie?
character. I can't think
No,
of
I wanna
it.
say it's like Hope or something. I don't think that's
No,
right.
It was-
we'll remember.
It was so good.
Somebody's gonna like message in and tell us what that movie's called. Yeah. So, all right. So back to your business. Tell us a little bit about what that business does and what your product. How did that function, and then how do you, get to the decision point, and at what point and how many years were you in when you were like, okay, we're gonna like start giving up some control, because these are things that we face and are looking
curious about.
We are curious about them, because I think you're right. In order to grow, you have to let go a little bit. And, I think that the persons at the top can be the limiting factors sometimes. And
Which we talk about
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it's a reality.
yeah, so
It's
tell
normal.
Yeah. And we want to grow, and we want this to be like such a great thing, and we are doing that, but where it is hard to not hold a grip.
Yeah, so I think it started when I bought a planner. As silly as that sounds, like it's called the Happiness Planner.
Oh, nice.
And it would just ask you questions about yourself. And I started tracking what I was spending my time on. And then in addition to that, what I enjoyed and what I did not like. So knowing my strengths and weaknesses allowed me to say, okay, I'm not good at this, so I'm going to find someone else who is, right? And who matches their personality with what the work is, because then, they'll flourish in that.
Yeah.
If you put me at a desk and I have to just sit and look at a computer screen all day, I'm probably not going to be happy,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah,
there
for
are
sure.
other people who really enjoy that type
yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
So I think knowing your weaknesses allows you to hire the correct people for the position. And then asking questions is a big part of it, and trust. Like those are the parts to get over, and then when someone makes a mistake, how do you want to respond to that? Is there some sort of a punishment associated with it? Do you view it as a growth opportunity? So I think it depends on the leader too, on how comfortable they are to let go based off of someone else making a mistake.
Right. That's the hard thing. It's like they're going to make mistakes, and we try to extend grace, and then the question is, where's the line? Like I'm extending grace, and we're going to fall off. Like at some point there has to be a consequence if it's a recurrent issue. So that's always hard. It's like, well, we want to extend grace, but also, long term we have to make the best decision for the business. So
how
those are
close
hard.
are you both to letting go of control? Are you ready for this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, to be honest, I think we're still in a growth phase, and I think we just aren't sure.
The timeline,
The timeline. I guess
like
that would make sense.
we're in 6 years, so we're a baby company. So is it like a 10-year thing? Is it 8 years? And I don't know if there's an answer for, I don't think there's a right answer. It's just the right answer for you, right?
But we're slowly trying to put good people in place that are able to help, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah, we have great people for
Yeah.
sure.
So that's the puzzle piece, or the putting the puzzle pieces together, I guess, is like growing it. But it's been amazing, But I think that anybody that looks at a business, sometimes if they see you, they think, oh, that's easy, and it's not.
No.
It's a lot of work, and
they're
it
like-
doesn't just happen.
Right. They're like, oh, if they can do it, anybody can do it. We're like, okay, have fun.
Yeah.
Good luck. Love it. So I'm going off topic here. Tell everybody about Rad Kids and how you got involved in that. And because you and I kind of had a connection because my daughters went to Micanopy and they went through that program with
Yeah, you've done a
with
bunch of
coach.
stuff.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. How did you get involved in that? Tell us about that.
So my friend Laura said, she was within the National Guard at the time, and she said, Lauren, I heard about this program. It's amazing. I want to bring it to Gainesville. So I need you to drop everything and go get certified next week because they're coming. It's like, oh, okay. How am I going to make this happen? I mean, this was years ago, back when I was doing,
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. And so I did once I found out what it was about. So 1 in 7 boys will be sexually assaulted before the age of 18, and 1 in 4 girls. When I heard that number, I was devastated. And to think that there is a program, Rad Kids, that will empower children to be able to make their own choices during a crisis situation, to me, it was
It's awesome.
a non-decision, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up going to get certified. Through that process, I met the various police forces in Gainesville, and they were already doing this program at
UF for adults. I had taken it when I worked downtown, and I had to walk to the parking garage at night. All the ladies in my office all went and did it together. It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, it's very empowering. I mean, when someone gives you that permission to say it's not your fault, so you can tell someone if
Right.
it's happened to you, that's life-changing. A lot of us don't get that message until we're much older.
Yeah.
And so when I learned about that aspect of it, having the psychology background, I said, oh my goodness,
yeah.
like to get this message to kids at a very early age, that could change the direction
Because it's like
of
first
their life.
grade and fifth grade, right?
Yep, it's elementary school.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at that age, they might not even have words to explain why something's weird, like giving it. Yeah, it was great. My daughter loved it. It was really cool.
Yeah, and it covers what to do in a bully situation, an abduction, attempt, any type of physical threat. It teaches the kids how to respond during that crisis, and that's very empowering. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's such a cool thing.
Thanks. Yeah, well, I had a lot of help. It wasn't me on my own, trust me.
Well, I
It was
know,
a
but
lot
like
of
you
people.
taking that challenge and taking it to people and, and feeling empowered to be able to do something is
Where do
great.
people go to find out about that?
So the website, radkids.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's offered, at multiple locations here, is it?
Yeah, it's a national program. So we're just working on bringing it to the Gainesville area, but it's all over the country, so people can
Awesome.
find it in their various areas too.
That is a really good program. I actually read something about that today. Somebody that talked about their rad training, and the kid kind of saved themselves. They recognized something that was happening to them and kind of got away
Which
from
is
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's like one starfish. It's like all the starfish, it's a mess out there. But if you can just save one, it's like you have to have that
huge.
mentality. It's like you can't, fix everything. But if you can give them a little bit more self-empowerment. And it was funny when my daughter, who's 18, wanted to start dating. My husband was like, yes, you have to write an essay on how your life is going to be better in a year after you date. And you have to do the RAD program with your mom. So we did it together. So
Oh, I love that.
was awesome. I was like, those are good things. He didn't make her write the essay, but he did make her to go to the RAD training.
And she is not dating.
She's not dating now. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's focused on school, and that's good. So
Yeah. So
Yay.
it's cool. It's a good program. I just wanted to touch on that because I knew you were involved in that, and that is it's a cool thing, and people don't know about it. The word should be out, and it should be more readily available at all the schools, I think.
Yeah, I mean we're working on it, so it's definitely getting closer. Obviously, COVID kind of threw a wrench into everything with the
of
schools,
course.
but our hope is that it gets back on track relatively soon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So, what's happening promotions, and then your Vistage, it takes a lot of your time. If somebody were interested in, reaching out to you and interested in even Vistage, how would they go about that with you?
So they can contact me through my website, laurendouglas.com.
Okay.
And then just social media too. I mean, I'm on pretty much all the channels, so
So who
I
is
love TikTok.
Vistage? Who is, yes.
I'm not on that yet. But
On what?
TikTok. Have you got?
Oh, we are.
Just a little bit.
We have like two
I have
it's
one
not our
video.
thing.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure it out. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm taking my time.
It feels a little intimidating to me, but
It's going to be so much, and I think it's going to be addicting. Like when I actually start doing it, I'm like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
So
Rose does TikTok a lot.
Oh,
with their
yeah, she
recipes
does.
And
Yes,
stuff.
it's so funny.
I know. I watched one today.
Oh,
I was like,
Shannon,
I wrote it down.
Shannon, my friend in Flagler, her big dog brought in like a possum that was alive and it was under the bed.
No.
And she has this TikTok of her husband taking it out, and she had music to it. It's like 4 million views. I was like, you are something else. Like,
So
are you kidding
so
me?
much fun.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So who is Vistage good for? Like who would be an ideal person, candidate?
Typically around 25 employees. That's about the threshold for where you need to be to get the most amount of benefit out of it, I would say. It's a constant learner.
Yep.
So it's someone who wants to work on their own personal development. So you have a lot of leadership programs, but Vistage is specifically for the CEO. Wanting to understand who they are on a deeper level, and then also being able to work on their business instead of just working in the business.
Yeah.
So it's one day a month to just do nothing but work on your business and see where you want to go, where you want to take it. If you have questions, you can talk to a peer group. So it's someone who's definitely interested in personal development on themselves.
Right.
Yes.
It is one day. It is one day a month that you dedicate, but there are amazing speakers that come in and talk to the groups, right?
Yep.
On business topics and leadership topics
And personal development, like health and wellness. Like we've had all kinds of cool speakers. You know, it's
Who's
awesome.
been your favorite speaker, if you would have to say?
I don't know. I like ITR a lot just because it's that forecasting and it looks at, the economic side of it. But there's been a lot of great speakers. There was the guy that was out of California that was...
I liked him a lot.
Yeah. I forget. What was he called?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brad Davison? Is that
that's him.
the health speaker?
Not the health speaker. No, the guy that invited us all to come to California. What was his name?
Quiggle.
Yes.
Dan Quiggle.
Dan Quiggle.
Yes, he was good.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot, and you can, not everything they say applies to every person, but like being
get
able to
little
pick the nuggets, and take them and bring them back, and it's our poor employees were like, guess what we learned, and they're like,
Here we go. But I got the opportunity to bring Sunny with me this past month to hear the speaker, and she was like, that was really great. And I think that when we do get the opportunity to bring people with us like that, it's
it's
brings
good for
value.
them. Yeah.
And it is good for them.
I thought of one, foundations, the one on foundations of your company. Like, what are the foundations? I cannot remember his name, but we went to that, we heard that, and then we actually went over to Jacksonville and we sat down and just wrote all of them. Like, we had a day away.
So it was 25 behaviors that you want to see, right? From your company?
It's not a specific number, but yes, it's behaviors.
Okay. Yeah. So that's really great because instead of having values up on the wall,
right,
you break it down to what behaviors do you directly want to see from your employees, you know?
And it's helpful to them.
Oh, it's huge.
And we talk about it at, every month we kind of go over one of the foundations and we kind of present it, and it's about, us all kind of working in the right direction, in the same direction, I would say. So, there's been a lot of challenges over the last 6 years, and I'm sure you faced that in your business as well, but this group has been tremendous for us.
So I'm so happy to hear that.
And we appreciate you
coming here
today.
Thank you for coming.
Well, both of you,
thank
are
you.
so loving and giving and nurturing, and now it's just another way to connect with the world, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, and we love it. It's like more community, right?
Oh, it's huge.
Bringing everybody together, teaching each other about like what we do, and I think it's important. So,
I love
thank
it.
you.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook, 11 o'clock on Tuesdays. And next week, we will have Carissa Blazer with Pure Aesthetics with us, talking about her business and what amazing things they do there. And she's just a sweet human. So we're excited
she's
to have her.
celebrating her 6th year anniversary as well, like
yes,
we are. So,
yeah. We're like we're close together running the race. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Thanks, Elio, at the Fiesta Media for producing. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day. See you next week.
Bye.